Hey guys, Anna Brooks here. Good morning. How you doing? Just outside enjoying the beautiful sunshine, and thought I'd just come have a chat with you guys. So bear with me one sec. We'll wait and see who can jump on. Actually, might just go grab some water. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be right back. Alrighty. And we're back. Okay. So, hello. So, if you saw my post yesterday, and I think if you're on the email list as well, would have gotten a reminder. There was a video that I posted up that was from Fitness First, right? And it was them speaking about how basically they did an experiment with a bunch of people. So some that are regular gym goers and very much very fit and healthy, and others who don't exercise on a regular basis, right? And they flipped them around. So they did so the group that was already exercising a lot suddenly went to not exercising at all, and vice versa, right? So anyway, I won't go into it too greatly, because if you want, just jump on, even just onto my Facebook page, this page that you're on. Oh my God, I'm still barely awake. Okay, so yeah, if you want, jump on and have a look and watch the entire video. It's only like 5 minutes, but it's really worth watching, right? So after that, I kind of got reminded, I guess, a little bit that I know I talk a lot about, obviously, aesthetics and how you look and having a great body and all that kind of stuff, and that's a huge thing, and it is. And I think it's fantastic if that's part of your goals, if that's part of what you want to do, then that's fantastic. And I have a lot of opinions about, I guess, a lot of different excuses and things that get thrown around, the body love movement, all this kind of stuff, which I'm not going to get into greatly because there's not much point right now. But what I did want to touch on, and I guess not even touch on, but really explain to you a little bit, is that as much as I may harp on about how much, I love that people look after themselves and go to the extra effort to feel absolutely fantastic and sexy and as hot as possible in their bodies and all that kind of stuff, as much as that's absolutely what it's about for me, there's a much bigger picture to it, right? And I touched on it a bit yesterday in yesterday's live stream about how it's not about who you are. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are. So it doesn't really matter if what you're doing and that kind of stuff. It's the same with the whole fitness kind of side of it, that it doesn't really matter what your end goal is in terms of your how you're looking at everything like that. That's all well and good to work towards, but there's a much bigger picture to it that even us people who do get very caught up in just wanting to look really hot and looking really fit and all that kind of stuff, even for us, there's a much bigger thing to it. So I kind of wanted to give you a bit of my story, which you may or may not be familiar with. I kind of do share it in bits and pieces throughout my blogs and my live streams. So depending how new you are to this community, you may not know about it. But my history is through, first of all, Taekwondo. So I have a long history of fight training and sparring, and I'm a black belt and all that kind of stuff. And that was kind of where I got my fitness growing up, because I didn't do very well at traditional sports. I was never very good at ball sports, and I just didn't really feel good in a team environment, I guess. And So that was kind of where I got my fitness from, right? However, this did not really, once I kind of got bored of it, I didn't really know what to do after that, right? So if you know my history with binge eating disorder and with overeating and emotional eating, that was a big part of my story for a long time. And it was kind of what led me into the gym in the first place, right? I kind of thought, I'll give this a go. And so I did that. And when I got into the gym, it was very much an unhealthy relationship. I was trying to get rid of this binge eating problem, right? So it kind of just bled into becoming exercise bulimia, exercise anorexia, actually, not bulimia, because I was never throwing up. So it kind of led into that because I would go and binge and I would eat a lot of food. And then I would go and exercise for 3, 4, 5 hours a day to get rid of that energy that I'd used, right? The energy that I'd eaten, all the extra food, so that I never actually put on heaps of weight. I never really looked overweight. And it was purely because of this, right? But the thing that happened when I started exercising that I hadn't counted on, I purely went there because I'm like, okay, I'm binging. I'm going to start putting on heaps of weight. If I don't start doing something to combat it, then it's going to get really, really bad. That was my original intention. But I didn't realize that over the time that I got there, I would fall in love with the gym. I would fall in love with training. And this had a lot of different effects that I didn't realize. For example, first of all, I made new friends. That was a big thing. I'd always had an idea in my head of what like those really big muscly guys in the gym are like in terms of personality, or what the fit girls in the gym had as a personality. And I had all these thoughts in my head about what it was like, what they were like, right? And it kind of really shook that up to actually meet them and have them become my friends and kind of go, okay, these people are not actually shallow, selfish, just assholes. They're actually some of the kindest, sweetest people I've ever met, and they just want more out of life. That's about it. They just refuse to settle for less than what they're capable of. It's not they're not a better or a worse human being because of it. And that was a big breakthrough for me, to suddenly be like taking these people off this pedestal of where I kind of thought what they were like, and also trying to beat them down with it, because you see it all the time. You see, it still is so much fitness shaming going on, which is just ridiculous, and it's horrible. And it's just, it's that constant sort of thing of, well, you probably, if you look after yourself, if you look really hot, if you've got really good body, all that kind of stuff, you must be shallow, you must be selfish, you must not care about anyone but yourself, and all that kind of stuff. And it's still just so rampant in the industry, right? But that was one of the things that changed for me, is that I saw that this wasn't actually true. This was not true at all. And then from another basis, it was my entire mindset started to shift. I used to struggle, even being quite a motivated person and quite a driven person my whole life, I still did struggle with energy. And I would get to certain points of the day where I'd just be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. And I would come home and I would start getting dragged into what most people, I assume, still consider normal, which is, the whole get on the couch and start watching TV. And it didn't really occur to me that this is abnormal or that this is not a good thing to do until I started getting into exercise and realized how much more energy I have for life and how much more I can actually do with my life than just come home at the end of the day and sit down and switch off for that many hours before I just go to sleep. Like, that's half of your life basically gone that you're just letting go of because you don't want to do anything with it, which is, it's really depressing now that I look back on it, right? But most people don't realize that, or most people don't really think about that, I guess. So in terms of the mental clarity and the focus and the ability and the actual just motivation to get up and do something, that changed a hell of a lot. And I didn't even realize it until years later, right? And I guess that was one of the things that in the video, when they talked about how their actual mental capacity and their ability to just want to do something had changed so much, that really hit through to me, because I was like, well, yeah, when I started exercising, even as I was still battling the eating disorder, I still wanted to do more. I still wanted to go out more. I still wanted to just do something productive with my day. I didn't find myself wanting to sit and binge watch any episodes of television, which I still don't now. I still really struggle to understand, really, and how people can do it, because it's just like, well, that's just hour after hour of your life that's gone to absolutely nothing. There is you're not gaining anything from that. You're not creating, you're not learning anything. You're not getting any more I guess, brain activity, anything happening. It's literally shutting down your creativity, and that's a big thing that, if you've seen me talk about this a lot, I have a very big belief that in our generation, this ability to just have entertainment, basically, and this is what I call entertainment as well, I guess, if you're watching this, right? The ability to get any kind of entertainment just on tap anytime you want is making us less creative. It's making us not use our imagination as much anymore. It's making us not as committed to anything anymore, right? But that's a whole different other topic. What I wanted to, keep emphasizing, I guess, is this mind shift that happened, and that over time, I stopped looking at the gym as something that, how many times have I been this week? How can I cross it off? Am I done, basically? And it started just becoming I want to go to the gym. I want to go do a workout. And there wasn't even a question of, well, hold on, but I've done all of my workouts for the week. What do I do now? It was just, well, I'll come up with something. Like, especially after I did my PT course and everything, obviously I became a lot better at structuring my own workouts at random when I wanted to. But that was the big thing, is that shift of like, well, I don't need to have everything figured out. I don't need to have everything or worked out exactly what I'm going to do. I can just go and I can just do it, and I can just go to the gym because it's part of what I do, and it makes me feel amazing, and it makes my life a lot easier in terms of the energy that I have for everything else, the way I look, obviously, but also the way I feel about myself. It's just martial arts, I believe, was a big part of it as well. That the more I got into the martial arts, the more I just gained a lot of self-worth, and self-confidence was a big thing for me. But more importantly, it came with the gym as well, that I didn't have to be, it wasn't anything to do with fighting or the self-defense or anything like that. It was purely that self-confidence of knowing that I've mastered something. And especially back in that time, like obviously not so much as people that are still older than me, but still in the time that I started it, it wasn't a big thing for girls to be at the gym unless they were in a class. There was no other girl in the weights area except for me, because most girls were either, like I said, in classes doing the Les Mills or whatever it is, or on the cardio, which granted I was doing many hours of as well, because obviously there's only so much weights you can do to burn calories, and then you just need to basically jump on the cardio, right? But I was the only girl in the weights area at the time, so it was still a big sort of taboo thing. And now it's a completely different story. Now it's like, I still get shocked when girls come into the gym and think that they just have to jump on the cardio, because I'm like, well, just take one look around the gym and you'll see all the girls that actually look good, feel good, are looking happy, are all on in the weights area, right? But the point is, it's a whole mindset shift. It's a whole change of how you actually see yourself and how you see your capabilities, like the amount that you're able to believe in yourself to actually get things done when you need to get them done. That changes a lot as well. Like you think you know how much energy you're capable of, you know how much you're capable of doing, and you just don't. You just don't until you're in a state where you are fit and healthy and this is your life, and then it's kind of like, holy crap, there was a whole other side of me that I wasn't even aware of. It's that whole, you don't know what you've got, or you don't know how good it can be until you make that change, right? Because you think that the state that you're in, the energy levels that you have, the amount of sleep that you get now, that's all normal, that is what the standard is, and you just don't know any different until you actually change it. And that was kind of what I wanted to get across, is that if you're struggling with your goals, like for example, you've plateaued or something, you haven't really lost the weight that you wanted in the last few weeks, in the last couple of months, it can be even, whatever it is, and you're kind of like, well, I'm a bit down about it, I'm a bit, I'm feeling unmotivated and that kind of stuff. It's time to bring it back into the bigger picture, because the weight stuff, the lean stuff, the body stuff, that'll all come. Like that's just part and parcel of it, obviously, if you're committed, and depending obviously as well on your diet is a big part of it, let's be honest. But if you're committed, that's going to be part and parcel of it. But the idea of actually just not going to gym, or gym or whatever exercise it is you do that you choose for your fitness and your health, the idea of just stopping it and just going, oh, well, I'm not getting the body results I want, so I'm not going to bother anymore. It's just so much bigger than that. There's just so much more to it. And I know how easily people can get unmotivated when the results don't come quickly, or that they stop or plateau for a little while. And it's then that you really need to open up the bigger picture and go, well, hold on, who was I before I started this? What was I doing with my time? How was I feeling? How were my relationships? How was my relationship with food? All that kind of stuff. Like, it's time to really bring it in to go, okay, there's a bit more to this. I'm not just going to the gym every day to just to look good. There is actually more to it, even though, obviously, like I said, I talk about how much going to the gym is so much of a body goal for me, right? But over time that changes. And over time, you kind of come to realize that you actually love this, that this is actually, like for me and for many people, it's kind of like our church. And I've written a blog post about this a while ago, I think. Just basically saying how the gym, it's my church. I'm not religious. I don't go to any other church, and I don't really follow any religions or anything like that. The gym kind of feels like it to me because I go there and I'm myself. I'm renewed. I feel refreshed. I feel that I'm around my source of happiness, my source of purpose, my source of, I guess, passion and flow and alignment and all those things that we're all searching for, all those things that we want to do with our lives. I go there and I'm kind of renewed. I'm myself again. And then that's why it gets to that stage where in yesterday's live stream I was talking about how it just gets to a stage where it's like, well, it's not even an option now to not go to the gym. It's just, or not be a fit person. It's just part of who I am. So regardless what I do, it's who I am anyway. So it doesn't matter in the long term, right? So I'm just going to grab some more water. All right, so I think I'm going to finish it up there. So if there's a takeaway, I guess, from today's live stream, it's that if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere right now, if you feel like your results are plateauing, yeah, for sure, change it up, get a trainer, whatever it is, do something different to maybe spark new results or whatever it is, or do all the physical stuff, for sure. It's always about action, right? However, also just kind of take it back a step and just think in terms of, all right, well, this is a bit bigger than just this body goal for me. How am I feeling? If I were to give up now and just go back to not exercising, what would I actually be giving up aside from obviously the possibility of getting this body goal? Aside from that, what am I really going to be giving up? Am I going to be suddenly feeling really crappy about myself? Am I going to be really lethargic? Am I going to be really tired all the time? Am I going to have no energy? Am I going to struggle walking up the stairs again? Like all of this stuff. And it translates into everything about your life, like just daily. It transfers into whatever you do for work. It transfers into how you spend your weekends. It transfers into how lazy and lethargic you feel in the mornings and the evenings and the everything. And it's just, yeah, take it back a step and just kind of have a think about, okay, well, what's the bigger picture here? What am I really trying to achieve, right? And sometimes it just takes that shift to go, okay, yeah, I've just got to refocus and just stick with it and just keep going, because this is about more. I get more out of this than just the body goal. I get to fall in love with myself every single day. All right. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Any comments as well, I'd love to hear. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.